Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are deconstructing a highly unique 10-point draft manifesto authored by Future Development Vasareddy Muni Ramakrishna. My goal here is simple and totally impartial. I want to give you a clear, structured analysis of exactly what is written in this document. We're going to rely exclusively on the translated text to understand the kind of world this manifesto actually seeks to build.
Okay, so to really make sense of this, we're going to break the whole thing down into 4 clear thematic pillars. Pillar 1, economic vision. Pillar 2, core welfare promises. 3, social harmony. And 4, ideology and symbolism. Let's dive right in.
Before we get into the nitty-gritty details, we have to acknowledge the original source documents. These were printed in Telugu and outline the entire 10-point agenda. Now, establishing credibility is absolutely crucial for us, so throughout our explainer today, we are going to be directly translating and neutrally analyzing exactly what is written on these pages. Nothing added, nothing removed. Just a direct pipeline from the source material straight to your understanding. Let's transition right into our first major theme. Pillar 1, economic vision. This vision actually dedicates a massive portion of its text to radically restructuring jobs, salaries, and the very nature of industry ownership. And the specific employment promises laid out here are incredibly detailed. Right out of the gate, the manifesto promises jobs for individuals aged 20 and older, and it establishes a seriously ambitious baseline minimum salary of 30,000 rupees or more. But it goes even further than that by creating specialized roles. Under what it calls the Annapurna Devi scheme, specific cooking jobs would be established across a huge variety of public spaces. We're talking schools, temples, hospitals, and even parks. Plus, the document heavily emphasizes the creation of jobs focused purely on market utility and market protection, which really signals a highly structured approach to local commerce.
And all of this builds into an even larger economic strategy. Point 8 of the manifesto proposes a massive shift in industrial control. It suggests bringing major production sectors entirely under government administration. The text explicitly lists agriculture, steel, plastics, and medicines as sectors the government would take over. And it even specifies the mechanism for this, noting that the government would acquire these industries by paying the appropriate funds to take full ownership.
Which brings us to point 10. This is honestly one of the most unique economic mechanisms in the entire document. It's a fascinating proposal regarding government welfare. The manifesto states that if a citizen actually chooses not to utilize the free government welfare schemes available to them, they won't just be left out in the cold. Instead, they'll be given an alternative monthly salary as direct compensation. It's a really intriguing approach to balancing state benefits with individual choice.
Shifting gears a bit, let's explore Pillar 2, core welfare promises.
So, beyond the economic restructuring we just talked about, the text outlines a broad, universal social safety net designed to support citizens from housing all the way to healthcare. The universal guarantees promised here are extensive. The manifesto pledges free housing specifically for married couples, while also making sure citizens retain the right to construct their own homes if they choose to do so. Education is another massive focal point. It promises free education all the way up to the degree level, accessible right within every single village. Pair that with universal free medical services and a mandate to upgrade village-level facilities with new parks, better roads, reliable water, and electricity, and you're looking at a platform heavily focused on robust, localized infrastructure.
But the crucial thing to note is how targeted some of these welfare measures actually are. For instance, the document explicitly mandates a monthly stipend of exactly 1,000 rupees specifically designated for orphans. The text notes this is intended to cover essential daily groceries, which showcases a highly specific safety net for a very vulnerable population.
Now, the welfare promises also cross over into the spiritual realm. The summary section of the manifesto contains a pretty unique provision. It promises state-funded salaries, or stipends, for religious leaders across different faiths. The text specifically mentions Brahmins and pastors, stating that supporting these figures will help encourage the general public to stay on a path of religious devotion. And that flows seamlessly right into Pillar 3, social harmony and security.
In this section of the text, we see a highly specific approach to monitoring social behavior, managing law enforcement, and ensuring public safety. The manifesto proposes a 500 rupee financial reward for citizens who simply maintain good social behavior. Specifically, the text says this reward goes to those who maintain a friendly demeanor, exhibit good intellect, and ensure they don't cause harm to anyone. It is quite literally a financial incentive for peaceful social coexistence.
But that peaceful coexistence is backed by a very firm hand. A direct quote translated from point 5 of the text presents a really fascinating juxtaposition. It explicitly states opportunity for love stories to be enjoyed, right next to a strict mandate for a strong police and inquiry department. So it paints a picture of a society where personal freedoms like romance are permitted and enjoyed, but strictly under the watchful eye of a powerful law enforcement and investigative apparatus.
Rounding out this pillar, the manifesto includes several other social and environmental provisions. It calls for strict, zero-accident road safety measures. It promises special, dedicated facilities and welfare programs specifically for the elderly. And interestingly enough, it elevates wildlife protection, stating that the conservation of forest animals will be formally recognized as a respected official profession.
Finally, let's introduce our last theme, Pillar 4, Ideology and Symbolism.
You know, a political manifesto is rarely just about policy. It's also about the cultural and religious imagery used to frame those promises and mobilize supporters. The vibrant campaign visuals that accompanied the source materials are a textbook example of blending religious iconography with political branding. Right at the center, you have the Hindu goddess Durga, armed and riding a lion. She is flanked by the distinct red and white logo of the Janasena Party, and prominently displayed beneath her are the Telugu words for Sanatana Dharma. It is a powerful, visually striking alignment of political identity with deep-rooted religious tradition.
And this imagery directly ties back into the written text itself. The manifesto's summary document uses the mythological metaphor of Mahishasuramardini, goddess Durga slaying the buffalo demon, to justify its strict law and order approach. The text promises that just as the goddess destroyed evil, a strong police department will punish the wicked. The ultimate stated goal of this spiritual and physical enforcement is so that good people will be reborn, which effectively frames state policing as a sort of divine mission to protect the righteous.
Well, we have covered a tremendous amount of ground today. We've seen proposals for total government control over major industries, unique financial rewards just for good behavior, specialized jobs for cooking and wildlife protection, and the use of powerful religious metaphors to justify strong policing. It is a complex, deeply layered document. So I want to leave you with this question to ponder. How do all of these vastly different concepts combine to shape your understanding of this draft manifesto? Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. Until next time, keep analyzing, keep questioning, and keep learning.